Boo!
Let me see if I can get the music going.
Alrighty then, I guess I'll get started. I had an experience with my soon-to-be brother-in-law. It was Halloween night. Weird stuff started happening as myself, my brother-in-law, and my cousin were heading out to a place that we called the 5 Mile. We were going to check out the place because we heard that there were witches and satanic cults would practice rituals out there, and we thought it would be fun. So we're heading down the road. My brother and I realized the headlights were dimming on our car. Soon afterwards, the radio cut off, and the car just died altogether. Then, the headlights came back on, miraculously. We thought we made it in the clear and that we would still be fine, we'd get home. That's when we noticed something moving in the bushes. Well, we're like, well, okay, we're out in the middle of nowhere, not something that should be too odd. It might be an animal out there, you know. But then we felt it, a feeling of dread. So knowing we're about to see something that we didn't want to see and that we shouldn't see. I look over at my brother-in-law, and that's when the thing walks out of the bushes. We stare for about a minute, looking like idiots. That's when, I hear him say, "Is that thing standing on 2 legs?" I answer, "Yes, it is." We continue to watch this thing walk for about 5 yards before crossing the middle of the road and jump off on the opposite of the bushes. We fire up the car. We drive off. We look at each other. We hit the gas as fast as we can to get out of there. We get home. The cousin goes to sleep. My brother-in-law and myself are staying up trying to rationalize what we just witnessed. Closest thing we could figure, what we looked at was a coyote coming out of the bushes and walking across on its hind legs. The only problem with that, outside of the coyote being on its hind legs that entire time, is that we both realized the hind legs weren't bent or angled like an animal. They were straight like a human leg. It was also larger than any of us had ever seen an animal like a coyote before, easily 6 feet tall. That's when we decided it was best to just go to bed and not think about it anymore. It was good times on Halloween.
You love starting them off with simple ones, don't you?
I do.
They kept calling it the thing. I think that was my favorite part.
Yeah, they just didn't know what it was. Now, I will say there was some comments on this one, because he's from Oklahoma. I don't know if I mentioned that. Apparently, the Dogman is real big in Oklahoma.
The Dogman?
Yeah, and they said that was a possibility that it could have been the Dogman after someone else suggested it. Other people were thinking, well, you're not in Skinwalker territory, so it didn't seem like a Skinwalker. He assumed it was some other shapeshifter of some sort, but Dogman seems to be the most likely candidate because it fits the Dogman sightings. So I had to do a Dogman story again later on, another time.
Dogman. Is this like cat dog with Dogman?
I think it's kind of like man, bear, pig, but dog.
Man, bear, pig. I wonder how fluent this thing is in English and stuff like that, historically speaking.
I don't know.
I got to look this up. Did you do any research on this?
I've only heard about it in passing in other Skinwalker stories. People.
Okay, I was about to say in passing, and at the library. So you're staying on forums online, okay?
Yeah, forums online while reading different stories for this, and people have said Dogman in Oklahoma before. And I guess it's a thing there. We'll have to check it out and see if we can find some good stories on one.
Sounds terrifying, a Dogman.
Yeah.
First of all, if a coyote was doing that, that would be extremely terrifying.
Yeah, and then the fact that they noticed that it didn't have the bent legs.
Yeah. Video games saying internet libraries basically forums. Yeah.
I mean, technically, yeah.
When I hear in passing, though, I'm thinking like Luke's hearing this, in public
from
at the local diner. Yeah, at the local diner, I heard of the Dogman.
I wish.
So how tall did you say the Dogman was?
About 5 or 6 feet tall.
That's pretty damn tall.
I mean, taller than a coyote, anyway.
So what kind of dog would you think this looked most like?
I don't know. I guess
it's a pretty wide range.
Yeah,
a Dogman could look like, right?
So I think most people mentioned that it is like coyote or wolf-like. So
yeah, it'd be so cool if it was something different though, like
a pug,
golden retriever looking, the Air Bud.
There you go.
Wouldn't be scary then, would it?
No.
So this happened on Halloween, right?
It happened on Halloween night. He also mentioned 5 Mile was where they were going to, a place called the 5 Mile.
Is this near 8 Mile or?
No, but apparently it is also a well-known thing in Oklahoma, and it is definitely a witch hotspot.
So they were going there for a scare, like they
Yeah, they were
said.
going there, kind of like how some people go to like Spooky Hollow, you know?
Mhm. In our neck of the woods.
Yeah, yeah, we're
What's the legend there? If you flash your lights or something, you see. They had an old bridge there. They'd say if you'd flash your lights, you could see somebody on the bridge. That bridge has long been gone for a couple decades now. They rebuilt it, but back in the day, growing up, you literally couldn't drive. I mean, the bridge, you couldn't drive across the bridge.
yeah,
So you had this long country road. It's actually a pretty long country road. It just stopped right there, right? I mean, you had to, if you wanted to go the other way, you'd have to go clear back out around the other side of, I don't want to say the county, but a couple county roads over. But yeah, so I know what you're saying. This is a haunted hub spot, and it's probably frequently visited on Halloween, I assume.
yeah. And kind of like what we would do there, or something, well, that Okefenokee Woods, you know?
Oh,
Yes,
Okie
yeah.
Okie Pinokie. You think somebody was just like dressed as a dog man though on Halloween to scare them?
You know, that was one person's suggestion in the comments. I'm not gonna lie. Someone said this is Halloween night. What if it was somebody hiding in the bushes and they're half dressed? Yeah, I mean that's a strong possibility,
It is
but
Halloween.
you
And
never
if it's an
know.
area where people like to visit, then what
Yeah,
time did they say it was?
it was at night, because they had their headlights on and
It was at
everything.
night. That's all we know. We don't know if it was 3 in the morning. We don't know if it was 11.
I was assuming it was before midnight on Halloween.
It could just be a person.
Yeah,
That would be quite the thing to dress up as a dog man, though. You might get shot though, and you might be have an accident if you're in Oklahoma.
I
So
wouldn't want to go out in the middle of the night and off to the side of the road dressed up like that.
Viv Game said if someone was dressed up as Snoopy was in the bushes, he'd be terrified. That would be a little bit weird.
Yeah, I would probably get out of there.
This is nothing compared to what happens in your outside your garage, though, right?
Not quite. Although that has stopped.
It's so crazy. Ever since we talked about it on this show, it just
Yeah. And like we didn't change anything out there. So like there's been no like nothing structural that we fixed that may have stopped the sound or something.
just needed to be set free, I guess.
Yeah, or talked about it.
Yeah. This is a cool story. It was again when you start things off every week, you usually do something like this, where something pretty simple,
Yeah.
not anything above like and beyond crazy. We kind of build into that, and I think this is a good example of that. It was a good, fun story. Nothing
Yeah.
crazy happened, but I'm sure they'll be wondering the rest of their lives, what did I actually see that night?
That's kind of what I was thinking. Part of me was like, well, I wanted to have a palate cleanser, start the thing off with like a nice, easy story that is going to be ridiculous and a little bit, goofy. And I think it was fun.
There's a chance it could have been a person, though. I'm just going to stick to
A
that.
strong possibility it's a person. Yeah.
In fact, I might be a dog man for Halloween.
There you go.
If I would have known the legend of the dog man, I would have dressed up tonight as a dog man.
Yeah. If I
I
had
didn't know, though.
clued you in that I was dressed it up for.
Yeah. When I first joined, though, I was like, is that an effect? Because there's so many things you can do now. That that's
Yeah.
actually real.
Jeff Townsend Media. CG, good night.
And the question is, do I stay here? Will you be back? Are you gonna come back? Will you be back? Are you coming back?